What up, what up, what up? Detroit Finest with your main man, Antonio. We talking fathers, we talking dads, we talking inspirational guidance, we talking about a disciplinarian, we talking game spitter. You know what I'm saying? Coach you through the motherfucking poker game. Earl Brown, my dad, you know what I'm saying? All the way from Alabama, cotton fields and everything, come up here to Detroit. Hey, so many stories I can tell, but I'm just gonna brief it briefly because we dealing with some real sensitive topics here. I don't really be too personal, but my dad. So I'm gonna break it down like this. My dad was a money getting guy. When I can remember coming up, we was kind of like rich. He owned the Broadway downtown, had a nice little percentage in it, you know what I'm saying? So when I come up, I grew up tailored suits, getting tailored suits, getting chauffeured around, bodyguards, uh, all type of weird stuff, but those were the days, you know what I'm saying? So he was always like a good narrator, gonna tell me exactly what it is, how it should be played, and just don't lie about it. Stand up, hold you accountable, be accountable, because don't nobody really like no liar and don't nobody like nobody that don't want to be held accountable. So, hey, man, if you did it, you did it. You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't do it, tell me the lie so I can help you enhance the lie because you might not know how to lie like that. You know what I mean? That type of dad. So all my days coming up, getting money, no exaggeration, Earl Brown, he like the daddy to a lot of guys, you know what I'm saying? And I used to see him be daddies to a lot of guys, you know what I'm saying? Guys that was getting money, guys that was having female problems, kid problems, all that type of stuff. He was like a counselor, still is to this day, you know what I'm saying? One of the shyest dudes walking around, driving around, hopping out, you know what I mean? He gonna give you some boss game, and when I was coming up, I never quite noticed that my friends didn't have no daddy. Some of them did, but some of them didn't. And then some that had dads, they were like already like broke down on drugs, like bad, and they relationship was strained. My dad, he did fall bad on drugs, but we never had a strained relationship. You know what I mean? It was always still open. Accepting things for what they were. It's just a part of reality. You know what I mean? So I never like looked down on nothing that was introduced to me from him because I know that it was all about survival. Some dads could teach you how to fish, fix a motor, fix a pipe. You know what I mean? But those are survival skills. But some guys can't teach you how to survive, literally survive. Like even if you don't know how to fix an engine, you not ashamed to rake leaves or shovel snow or cut grass, uh, help the old lady. You know what I mean? Basic stuff. So I can remember one time we were staying on Piper, and my dad, he had just come home from jail, messed around and ran over a little kid. You know what I'm saying? He hit a kid, and that kind of like altered all that hustling shit. That shit was out the door, far as my recollection, far as him actually participating, doing his own things and all that. It was dead once he hit a kid over in Highland Park a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? If I ain't mistaken, the child will be my age too. So my dad kind of carries that real bad, and like I was saying, we was over on Piper. My auntie Suge stayed on Piper. So my dad always was with his auntie. So when he come home from jail, we came there. And it was a lady across the street. She had to be give or take 70 or something. And her grass was real bad, you know what I mean? So me and my dad just sitting on the porch one day, he like, man, you want to make you some money? I'm like, yeah. He like, well, come on, we're going to cut this lady grass. So I'm like, okay, cool. Now back then we ain't have all this power stuff y'all got. So we had to use like the real manual weed whacker, and then the grass cutter that was like roller deck, like that. So I don't understand why the kid ain't cutting grass now. You got motors. Anyway, the lady, we cut her grass. We over there wrestling with this shit too, man. Big grass, big grass. We wrestling with this grass. We finally get it done. She was on the porch watching us for a minute, and she told us, you know, when we get finished, to knock on the door and she'll be out. So when we finished and everything, we knock on the door. We don't really get no response. So we go across the street because she stayed across the street from us. So we sitting on the porch and everything. My dad gets some water and shit. We drinking the water. So like an hour go past. So my dad like, man, I hope ain't nothing happened to that lady. Man, make a long story short, man, somebody had went in that lady's house, apparently while we was cutting the grass, and killed her in her bathtub, left her in her bathtub. I had to be like 7 years old, 8 years old at the time, you know, a traumatic experience, because this was like one of my first times really cutting grass, like sweating this hard, because, you know, normally the grass that me and my dad go cut, it don't be this bad. So this was a very good memory of this grass and all these weeds and the utensils we had to use to attack this grass. Come to find out, somebody had killed that lady up in that house. And my dad called it out, like, I hope she ain't in there dead. And I'm like, Dad, why would you say that? He like, cause she ain't answering the door. Something ain't right. That ain't normally her, cause she normally would be sitting on the porch. You know, so, you know, my dad, you know, flying around Cadillacs and Rivieres, Thunderbirds, and just riding, bodyguards, chauffeurs. I remember one time, you understand, I'm going to Burns Elementary. I'm probably 4. I know I got to be the shyest kid in this whole school. 3-piece suit with the, you understand, the London Fall trench. You know what I mean? I ain't no telling what type of shoes I was wearing, but they wasn't nothing to be played with. As well as my cousin Kareem, you know what I'm saying? Because Kareem, daddy, and my daddy was like this. So, hey, if we was kind of like competitive on who would get this, who would get that, who would get this, who would get that, Kareem would be fresh too. So we in school one day, well, he in a different class, but in my class, I had the, we in here, I'm suited down. The lady got us back then too. See, this back in the day. So the Tonka toys, they were originally blocks with just wheels on them. You know what I mean? Just wood blocks. So we scooting them around the floor, but the floor is dusty. But I'm a kid. I don't care nothing about no dust. Man, I don't know what made my daddy and his bodyguard come up to the school, but they come up to the school and my daddy seen me on this floor and dusty in my suit, and man, went ham on the teacher. Asked her one good question after he finished cussing her out, and she saying, hey, we all be on the floor and this is that and that it is. He asked her, do you have your kid on this school floor? On this dirty floor? I don't even think they allowed me back in that school. I wound up going to dang on Stairwagon after that. You know, it was up out of there. Gotta go. Because your dad is just a nuisance, I guess, to them. But he just expressing himself. And I'm quite sure that in his mind, Man, this suit is a tailor-made suit, lady. What is you talking about? This suit here probably $300, and this in the 70s, early 80s. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money. Just like now, $300 is still $300. But you know, hey, I'm gonna get into some more of Earl Brown. You know what I'm saying? We gonna chill, talk some more smack. I got the coffee going. You know, I'm up early, grinding, getting it popping. Coney Island Chronicle, Detroit's finest. We gonna keep it popping with Earl Brown all day. Check back with me, baby. ACN. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace. Be back with more. EB, baby.